Hi, I am Chase Blower, and I'm a student in this communications class. And today I will be going over The Power of Powerless Communication in Sales by Sue Barrett, which she posted on LinkedIn.com. The power of powerless communication in sales. When talking about powerless communication in sales, the first thing we have to go over is what is effective sales. Effective sales is all about a fair exchange of value between one person and the salesperson. So the person buying and the person selling. And for this to happen, both parties need to benefit from an exchange. And the buyer of this product, as a salesperson, has to understand that they are getting a benefit from this sale. Now, in movies, in culture, in wherever, we're told that being assertive and being confident is the best way to sell a product. Being confident in what you're selling and being very assertive on it. But is this always the case? In class, we've been talking about powerless communication and empowerment and communication from a person with a perspective of power. And when you're using powerless communication in sales, it's actually been proven to be sometimes more effective than the ways that we've been shown in pop culture and in movies and whatnot. When you're discussing sales and when you're trying to sell something, using a more powerless technique, you seem more relatable to the person. You seem more trustworthy. And as we remember, trustworthy is very important from the buyer's perspective. They want to trust the person who is selling this. They don't want to get scammed out. They don't want a not very good product. They want to buy the best they can for the most effective cost. Also, selling isn't always about telling the person. It's also about listening. You want to listen to the person's problems. You don't want to tell them how they're going to solve their problems. You want to see what their problems are first. And you want to show them that this product could help them, not by just telling them, but by listening to their problems and being a good listener instead of just being assertive the whole time. Sue goes on to talk about Adam Grant. He is a professor of psychology, and in some of his writings, he's talked about, other than just understanding other perspectives and being a good listener, the value of being vulnerable and the importance of being yourself to gain trust and being more approachable. Being more human will also help with the trustworthy part, not just being a good listener. He also goes on to say that not being assertive and not being overconfident and instead being more vulnerable, being more trustworthy by being yourself and approachable could help build your prestige and help you gain respect from others just as much as if you were assertive, or if not more. Many salespeople have a very bad stereotype also of being, deceitful or liars or manipulators. And this is why you want to change that perspective from the buyer's point of view and be more approachable and human-like so you don't come off as the stereotype, because we all have our personal biases. And the best thing to do as a salesperson is to get around the buyer's personal biases and show them that you're just a person trying to give them value in return for a value back, and that will benefit the other person. Not in a way that is assertive and demanding, but in a way that is trying to help someone else out and being a good person and have a good intention going into it, or seeming like you have good intentions going into that sale. Another thing I found interesting about all this is when the salesman is not actually genuine in what they're saying and are being, using powerless communication in a more deceitful way, it usually ends up that they are less successful because the person actually believes and trusts more genuine people. There are, many ways you can be more genuine, and seeking advice is a good way. She talks about how Grant talks about seeking advice is a pretty popular form of powerless communication. So if you ask for advice from someone else, That shows that you're more vulnerable and more genuine, and they'll be more likely to trust you and give you more respect if you're giving them the respect and asking them for help in the first place. All in all, I learned from this article that from Sue that powerless communication is often much more effective in sales because you're more genuine, you're seen as a more trustful person, and you're not seen as a deceitful salesperson just trying to make a quick buck off of somebody, but someone who's actually trying to benefit the buyer by selling them their product, which personally I learned a lot from because in everyday life, in class, in groups, you want to be more genuine and be a good listener to be a better influencer, talker, salesperson, etc., etc.